Xanadu.
That was the soundtrack for the entire year of shooting.
I know, poor Bella. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about all the Xanadu.
Because we all kind of had a newfound appreciation and perspective of what they're going through in the show. It felt like it was easy to then reflect on camera because it's something that we've all kind of dealt with in real life.
The real danger in this story is not infected people or zombies or bad guys with guns. It's love.
Bella, Pedro, thank you for hanging out with me.
You're welcome.
Pedro, will I be the first person today to make a joke about you constantly escorting children through perilous situations?
You are the first.
Really? I don't believe it.
I hadn't even thought of it that way.
I'm not family.
No. You're cargo.
Why are you so important?
Somewhere out west. They're working on a cure.
You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
Be careful who you put your faith in.
You might not be her father, but you were someone's.
You trust me?
Now, you both were, of course, massive fan favorites on Game of Thrones. And I wondered if there was anything about your experiences on that show that helped you bond on the set of The Last of Us.
There's an immediate unspoken bond, probably, just being on.
She's stealing my words.
So, yeah,
ahead.
he's like...
No, that's fine. Go ahead. No, it's yours now.
Should I say the word calcified? That seems to be his word today.
My calcified heart.
Yeah. Go on, carry on. Say your words.
There was an unspoken bond between us because we were both on the same show and our careers were birthed from
Game of Thrones.
A Violent Land.
Carolyn Strauss.
And Carolyn Strauss. We're recycling, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Pedro, there are great moments in The Last of Us involving road trip cassette tapes, as well as a few nods to 80s music. If we found one of your cassette mixtapes from the 80s, what would have been on it?
Ooh.
Xanadu.
That was the soundtrack for the entire year of shooting. Xanadu all the time.
Now that I'm here, I can't sing. I know, poor Bella. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about all the Xanadu. But let's start with Xanadu.
Okay.
Aha would be on there.
You like a
Take on Me. And then the rest would be Prince. Always Prince.
Purple
Some Tina Turner.
Solid choices. Bella, I'm so impressed by how well you cover your English accent. I really am. And when you were getting into
when you were sabotaging this interview, it's going to stop now. I'm stopping.
So, it's late. I get it. When you were getting into character, when you were trying to slip into that accent, did you have a word or phrase you used to kind of warm up?
Yes. What are you thinking of? I don't know if we think we're
not thinking about the same thing.
We're not.
Are you? Would you have to bleep?
Yeah, I was going to say. I would say.
That's what I was thinking.
That's genuine, and I still do it now. Like if I'm being American, I'm like,
Americans talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Potty mouths.
Actually, weirdly, one of the first phrases that I ever worked on with my dialect coach, Naomi Todd, who's one of my best friends now, is I have so many like random videos of me saying the words olive oil.
Oh, that's a hard one.
Olive oil. Because like in British, I go olive oil, olive oil. But I love doing the American accent, and I would wake up some days in it. I'd wake up and I'd be, even this morning, because I've been around Americans all the time. Like I woke up and I was talking to myself and it was in American, and I had to slap myself to remind myself that I'm British.
Bella, I love the scene where Ellie gets so excited about finding the Mortal Kombat arcade game, but wondered if you share any affinity for vintage video games.
That's a great question, and unfortunately, I don't. The most vintage I go in terms of video games is Flappy Bird. No, it's the answer to your question. I do not share an affinity with Ellie.
Flappy Bird was a great answer.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for taking the time with me today.
Thank you so much.
Hello, Nico. Hi, thanks for hanging out with me today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, first off, I love this show. I really, really do.
Yay!
And the relationship between your character, Sarah, and her father, Joel, played by Pedro Pascal, really sets the stage for everything this character endures throughout the series. And I wondered if you could tell me a little bit about what you love about the dynamic between Sarah and Joel.
I think what I love the most about it, and I think, this is 100% props to Craig and Neil, I think is that it doesn't kind of force you to look how adorable they are, that kind of forced situation. I think it doesn't do that. It just kind of lets you see a normal love between a father and a daughter and that kind of closeness and dependence on each other. And I think that it does that in a way that's natural and real and people could relate to. And I think that the fact that it kind of begins on that note kind of sets the tone.
For those who don't know, your mom is Tandiwe Newton. So I assume you grew up visiting TV sets and movie sets. But I was wondering if there was anything about actually being the star and filming and being on a set that surprised you.
I think that it's actually quite difficult. I think when I would watch my mum do it, I'd just be like, God, you loser. This is so easy. And then I think when there's a lot of waiting around too. So when I would go and visit set, I'd be like, all you do is just sit down. Really, I remember that kind of what do you do all day? And then I think when you're actually in it, it's surprising how much energy it requires from you and how much focus it requires. It's something that I don't think you can really prepare yourself for. You more so just experience it firsthand.
Was filming a show about a global pandemic on the heels of a global pandemic somewhat of a heavy experience?
I think it was heavy in a way, but I think it was beneficial because we all kind of had a newfound appreciation perspective of what they're going through in the show. And so I think that was something that, was kind of that sympathy for that feeling and that actual feeling, obviously to a much smaller extent for some, it felt like it was easy to then reflect on camera because it's something that we've all kind of dealt with in real life.
And I reflect back on pandemic and just needing some way to be happy and unwind and come down from the drama, and wondered if you had a show, a hobby, an album, or something that helped you unwind from filming.
We filmed in Calgary, and I was there with Rose, who was my mum's assistant and my dad's assistant and my just general best friend. And we would consistently come back and an episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills would be put on. And then just you just kind of melt into the couch because as soon as it's on, you just succumb to the housewives.
That should be the new tagline for the show. Succumb to the
housewives. Really, honestly, I don't think I would have been able to do it without the joy that theme tune brought me.
Oh, I love that so much. Thank you so much for taking the time with me today.
Thank you. Thank you for talking with me. It was lovely to meet you.
Of course. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Hi, Craig.
Hey.
Hi. Thanks for hanging out with me today.
Of course. Chilling in your bedroom. Looks cool.
Hey, guest bedroom. I couldn't put this stuff in my bedroom. It's too much fun. First off, I want to say how much I truly, legitimately loved what you've done with this show in the first 4 episodes. I'm a fan of the game, and I was just, you got me. I'm all in.
Yes. Listen, I'm a fan of the game too. And obviously we know there's this enormous fan base and they're passionate because we're passionate. I would be as hurt as anybody if this ball got fumbled, So I love hearing that from people who are fans. And I think, and maybe you can tell me, I think that people who don't know anything about The Last of Us are still going to get so much out of it. I think they get to experience this story that they should experience that they wouldn't because they just aren't game. So I'm excited for them too.
100%. And I 100% agree with you. But I wondered from your perspective, for those who might be suffering from zombie fatigue, what does set this show apart?
Well, first of all, you can kind of look at the titles and I think you see a difference right away. The Last of Us is about us. It's not about them. We definitely have infected people, and we really try and emphasize that it's a sickness, it's a disease. They're not supernatural. We want you to actually feel for them, and be connected to them in a way that you wouldn't be with a zombie. But there's also much more story that is not about them. They are part of the world. The story is really about love. It's a love story. And it's about the beauty of love and how love keeps us going. It's also about the danger of love. The real danger in this story is not infected people or zombies or bad guys with guns. It's love. It's actually what it does to us. And the relationship between Joel and Ellie is so, I just thought it was the most profound thing when I played the game, and where we've taken it to, there's a beauty to it and a sadness, but also a little bit of a danger. So, I guess I would say to anybody that isn't a fan of the zombie genre, neither am I, honestly. But I love The Last of Us.
I thought episode 3 with Frank and Bill was absolutely spectacular and had me emotional in ways I hadn't expected. Beautiful storytelling, beautiful performances. That episode ended and I said, 40 minutes gone already, or however long it was. I can't remember the last time I lost track of what I was watching because I was so in it.
I love that. And I have news for you. That is one of our longest episodes. Most of our episodes are about 55 minutes long. That episode's 73 minutes long. And so many people who've watched it have said, that was such a great 50 minutes. That was such a great hour. I'm like, it's actually an hour and almost 15, but it goes. And I also love that episode. And Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett are so wonderful in it. And that relationship between Bill and Frank, for me as a writer, it actually encapsulates everything. Like all of the stories that happen, you can see echoes of everybody in those two guys. But the nice thing is their story's happy. Regardless of how it ends, it's happy. They win. There's somebody wins in The Last of Us. It's so nice.
As a gamer myself, I thought I picked up on some very clever nods to those co-op video game moments between Ellie and Joel. Ellie squeezing into tight places to unblock doors for Joel.
Yep.
And I'm assuming that was intentional.
Of course. Yes. Yeah. I mean, we definitely, they're little moments. And my thing is, what I said to Neil was, we never want to do something where people are like, oh, the only reason they did that was to be like, look, we do that in the game. Anybody watching it should be like, yeah, that makes total sense that you would do that. So we don't spend a lot of time. We don't go, oh my God, it's happening. It's just casual, but it's there. It's, without pulling fans out of the show, we just every now and then want to let them know, yeah, we got you. We're taking care of you. We know.
And you achieve that. But as a gamer, it taps into something in my head where I'm like, there's a puzzle to be solved.
Right.
And getting into that hole in the wall is the way to do it.
Exactly. I know exactly what you mean.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time with me today, Craig. I adore this show.
That's so great to hear. I'm so happy to hear that. So thank you. And I keep watching. It gets better.
I can't wait.
All right. Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you.
If you don't think there's hope for the world, why bother going on?
You haven't seen the world, so you don't know. You keep going for family.
I'm not family.
No. You're cargo.
Why are you so important?
Somewhere out west, they're working on a cure.
I think what really impressed them was the fact that I didn't turn into a monster.
If she so much as twitches, don't.
Okay.
If I'm taking you with me, do what I say when I say it. Got any advice on the best way west?
Yeah, go east. You've come this far, then you know what's out there.
You're not going to scare us.
Scared him? You have a greater purpose than any of us could have ever imagined.
Be careful who you put your faith in.
You might not be her father, but you were someone's.